oftentimes there's an association with youthful fragrances smelling cheap or, you know, not elegant, but there are in fact so many amazing fragrances that are youth appealing, that are elegant and classy. And a recent comment really opened up my eyes to the fact that there are girls in their early 20s or around 18 that are looking to elevate their fragrance game and want something really kind of classy leaning, but a lot of the recommendations that they're seeing maybe seem a little bit too mature. So in today's video, I've gathered a handful of fragrances. These all are quite easy on the nose for younger crowds, something that I would totally wear and would recommend to my sister who is 18. She's also been helping me a ton with my decant shop, THESCENTED.ca. So these are all Erica approved. So it's not just me and my old nose, okay? A young nose has approved these. Also, quick shout out to Mila for the amazing hair hack. The bun is totally Mila LeBlanc inspired, I have to admit. I think it's the easiest way to do your hair to make it look like classy and elegant, but just so easy. I've been using these little twisty pins. I actually grabbed them on sale somewhere, but they're amazing. Like I use 4 and you just like twist them in and they fully hold your hair, nothing else required. So yeah, I didn't have time to do my hair this morning and I hacked it. If you guys are new, my name is Yana. This is THESCENTED. We do the fun fragrance things. Subscribe, stick around. We'll do them together. Let's jump in. I will let you guys know that this list is mostly designer centric. So I know a lot of people are like not really so down with the niche stuff. Don't you worry. I have the designer goods for you. Let's start off with a cheap and cheerful and kind of underrated fragrance. This is Miu Miu Twist. This smells like a little bit peppery version of Bal d'Afrique. I feel like if you love Bal d'Afrique from Byredo, you will love this. Actually, my sister absolutely loves Bal d'Afrique and she smelled it on me, needed to have it. And she loves this one as well and complimented it on me. This has a really nice trail, considering that it's a light, fresh fragrance, mostly around apple blossom. It does leave quite a substantial trail. Like people will smell you and it is a compliment getter. It's also one of those fragrances that not a lot of people wear and not a lot of people know about, so you will smell really unique but really likable. A clean, cozy, woody fragrance. This list would not be complete without a cult favorite, and that is Mon Guerlain from Gourmand. This is a vanilla lavender scent that is very, very cozy and warm, but also clean smelling. And my personal favorite from the flankers is the Bloom of Rose EDT. I have been raving about this one since day one, and if I had to choose one, I would actually say this one's a bit more youthful. It has a very bright rose scent and neroli. It's like sparkling. It smells almost sparkling, you know? Where the original Mon Guerlain is more of like, I would say, a date scent, a little bit more sensual, soothing, and fluffy. This one is sparkling and bright, and I would say more of a daytime wearing scent. So I think this would be easier for youthful noses. It's still very, very elegant. They're both super easy to wear, and it's a cult favorite collection for a reason. They are just very likable, high quality designer scents. Definitely some of the best designer fragrances out there do come from Gourmand. Also, if you guys aren't sure about any of these fragrances and you wanted to test them out first, you can do so directly through me, through THESCENTED.ca. I have a decant shop with all of these fragrances available and hundreds more. I'm gonna be running a back to school sale and it's gonna be 10% off the entire site, so I'll make sure that everything is linked in the description with all of the details. Now here's one for the bougier girls. This is Fleur Narcotique from Ex Nihilo. This is one of my sister's absolute favorite ones that she has smelled. This is a peony and moss scent with orange blossom. It's musky. It has the airy quality of Baccarat Rouge, but not that sweetness and not the woodiness. So this is also a lot of lychee. It's refreshing. It has touches of sweetness, but to me it's more of a drier scent. It's like a dry peony, you know, when you walk by and you smell peony flowers blooming, but also with touches of earthiness. I love this fragrance. It is so beautiful, so elegant, and so youth appealing. One of my absolute favorites. I know that lately this one has been getting a lot of hype, and as I recently learned, because Hailey Bieber says she wears it. I'm probably the most like under the rock kind of person. I have no sense of what is going on in pop culture. I only learned that from a couple comments and had no clue, but it totally makes sense. This fragrance though completely deserves the hype. And yes, it is super expensive, but a lot of the times you can find it on fragrancebuy.ca and they will have it for a relatively reasonable price, paired with whenever they have a sale, like they have a couple sales coming up towards the end of the year. So I would get on the notify me list and keep an eye out for those sales as well. And you can actually snag it for a decent price. Next up is a newer scent from Gucci. This is Gucci Flora Gorgeous Jasmine. This is an outstanding, fresh, clean jasmine scent. The way that I always describe it is like a pretty girl who doesn't even have to try, doesn't even realize how pretty she is. It's just effortlessly pretty. As the name suggests, mostly about jasmine. There's a tiny bit of citrus, kind of brightening it up in the opening, and the base is kind of cozy, woody, but pretty much linear throughout. Like you do get that same jasmine, what you smell in the opening. That's just the way that it keeps going on the skin. Super clean and easy, probably the most floral of them all. Quick side note, I have tried all three of them, including the newest purple one, the Magnolia, the Gorgeous Gardenia and the Gorgeous Magnolia. They do have a little bit of like a juicy couture vibe. This is the most elegant of the three. Not that the other ones smell bad, but if you're looking to kind of like level up your fragrance game, this is the one of the three that does smell the most elevated. I had to, of course, include a Narciso in this list. If you guys don't know about me, Narciso Rodriguez is one of my favorite designer brands as well. I pretty much love everything from the collection, and I think the one that is the most youth appealing is Narciso Ombre. Love the color of the bottle as well, and this one is like a tropical floral scent. You know, you get the frangipani, you really feel like that vacation vibe, but still that signature muskiness, very elegant throughout the whole fragrance. The opening is where those florals are at, those tropical, bright, youthful, and kind of sexy florals. And then it does dry down to kind of a musky, woody, very cozy scent. Those florals do fade away a little bit. And though it is kind of a summery scent, the dry down I feel is actually really warm. And if I had to say, this is a very warm smelling scent. Like it gives you warmth. The other thing with Narcisos is you do absolutely need to try them on skin because they are musk dominant. Musk behaves so differently on the skin, and when you smell them on paper, a lot of the times they smell weird. Like they kind of smell like nail polish or like just off. Like I did not like any Narcisos when I tested them all out at Sephora, and it was only through trying them on skin that I found my love for them. But on paper, it was a no-go. I totally didn't see why people love them. I only discovered after I wore them on the skin. So definitely give it a spritz on your hand. And you know what? I'll give you guys a super quick hack on how to remove a fragrance if you hate it. If you absolutely hate a fragrance and it's a scrubber, the easiest way that I found is not using soap, not scrubbing the life out of your hand. It is very simply just to take some oil. I like coconut oil. And just massage it for a while into your hand, just massage it, and that oil will break down the fragrance. And then eventually you can wash it away with soap. And depending on how strong the fragrance is, you might need to cycle through that 2 or 3 times. But I have removed the most potent, like nuclear fragrances this way, and it is the best way. I had tried everything before. I had like basically chemically burned my skin using vinegar and baking soda, and like those didn't even work as well. Coconut oil is moisturizing, it's not damaging, and it works amazingly. So there's a super quick sidebar hack for you. And it's also a really efficient way for me to test fragrances because I can always just remove it and then test something else, and it's an easy way for me to test multiple fragrances in a day. Here's another cheapie that I love. This you can probably find for $60 or $70 on Fragrance Buy. It is one of the best fragrances at that price point. It is called Al Haramain Junoon Noir, also heavily approved by my sister. And this is a powdery scent. It has orris, violet, and a sweet citrus note. It has a lot of vanilla and musk in the base. So it is a very vanilla dominant scent, but with very interesting facets. Now, if you guys have tried Sol de Janeiro's number 40, that was my favorite one. You can also opt for that. They do smell quite similar, and my sister uses the number 40, and I think it is the best from the entire Sol de Janeiro range. Definitely the most elegant. I use the cream and I layer it actually with a lot of fragrances. But this fragrance is very similar and it's much longer lasting. You get a very, very similar effect from this fragrance. And if you really wanted to take it up one more step bougie, you could go for a Dama Bianca from Xerjoff, but that one is quite expensive. All of those fragrances smell quite similar though. We cannot complete this list without Coco Mademoiselle from Chanel. It's in the name. Yes, my bottle is pretty huge. It's the biggest one I could get. This is a citrus rose and patchouli fragrance. It's light, but there's an intensity to it. And this one, you have to be careful with your sprayage because one too many sprays will give you a headache, and it's happened to me before. I actually have to work my tolerance up with the scent because when I first got it and I had sprayed it in the car, I sprayed it twice and I had a massive, massive headache. I loved how it smelled, but it gave me a physically negative response. I had to come back to it and kind of work my way up. Now, I will only wear a couple sprays of this fragrance because it is really long lasting and strong, and I can smell it on myself. So I actually really like to spray this on fabric and on scarves. That's how I fell in love with the scent. I smelled it on a scarf and it developed into a really cozy version of this fragrance without any sharpness, just kind of musky and smooth. It's a really likable scent, even for anybody who hates patchouli or hates rose. The balance in this fragrance is great. This next fragrance I feel is a bit underrated as well, so you're gonna smell quite different, and it is bold. This is Indigo from Nest. This is a tea and fig scent with a woody base. This reminds me of some elements of Montguerrand, but taken to like a really intense level. Something about the scent has a Montguerrand kind of vibe about it. And it reminds me of Wilhelm's Dear Polly, which is a very expensive fragrance, but this one smells better. It does smell very expensive, refined, different, unique, and bold. But again, still very likable, kind of fruity and woody and green. I think if you love tea and you love just a little bit of spiciness, you would love this fragrance. The next one is from Ormonde Jayne and it's called Babylonia. I always rave about Levant, but you guys probably already know Levant. I covered it in my 5 fragrances that every woman needs. I'll link that up here. And actually that list is really pertaining to a younger crowd as well. Those fragrances are really well rounded. But I want to touch on Babylonia because this is a newly discovered fragrance for me and I've been loving this. This is kind of a powdery, sweet, blackcurrant fragrance. Oh, it is delectable. It is gourmandy, just a touch, but it is like a really elegant, sweet, classy fragrance. So of all of the fragrances that I've mentioned so far, this is probably the sweetest. So if you're a sweet fragrance lover, this is for you. It is very, very difficult to dislike the scent. It has everything you would want in a fragrance. Sweet, check. Sexy, check. Cozy, check. Long lasting, check. Like, what more do you want? Elegant, check. All the things. I think Ormonde Jayne makes incredible fragrances. Of all of the ones that I've smelled, I think this one and Levant are probably the most youth appealing. The scent is literally sweet, powdery, blackcurrant perfection. Another fragrance that has been a cult favorite is Chloé Eau de Parfum. I personally have gotten kind of tired of that one through the years, but I really love the Absolu, which is a little bit more deep and it's rose and patchouli, but still very much the same scent profile. This is more of an evening type of scent, but I still highly recommend the original Chloé as a youth appealing, elegant fragrance. It's rose and patchouli. It has a tartness to it. It's quite juicy. There's a lychee note. It can be a little bit overwhelming if you overspray, so you have to be careful, but that is a really long lasting, very elegant scent that I myself really loved in my 20s. I also currently really enjoy the Chloé L'Eau. This is the same idea, but just with more grapefruit, more citrus. It's more sparkling and uplifting, and right now I do prefer this one. Like in the springtime, in the summertime weather, this is perfect, the L'Eau, and it doesn't have as much of that intense lychee note, which to me I find overwhelming. So if you're like me and lychee may not work for you, I recommend the Chloé L'Eau. And if you want to take it in a flirty direction but still want to stay on the elegant side, I would really recommend YSL Mon Paris. I personally love this, and this is super youthful, but it's still really classy. Like, it's fresh, it's playful, it has a really nice strawberry note. Actually, I'm gonna just spray it right in here. It's very non-intrusive, and date friendly. I would recommend this as an all-rounder. You could wear this daytime, nighttime, dates, morning, whatever. That strawberry note is so delectable. Everybody loves Burberry Her, and Burberry Her is great, but a lot less elegant. This is a much more elegant take. It does have patchouli, but the patchouli is super mild, and when it dries down, it is very cozy and flirty. There's vanilla, there's musk, you still get those really nice florals, there's peony, there's jasmine, flirty and sexy and elegant. And the last fragrance that I want to mention is an honorable mention because this is the 2017 formulation. If you can find the 2017, run and grab it immediately, and it is the Miss Dior Eau de Parfum. It gets darker with time. All fragrances will if they contain vanilla, just as a side note. Sometimes you guys see the bottles and you're like, oh, why is it so dark? Well, actually, it doesn't take even very long for the liquid to darken. It's just something natural that happens with vanilla. So just keep that in mind. Your fragrance hasn't spoiled if it has gone dark. If it smells bad, then it's gone off. But color itself is not an indicator of how good your fragrance is and whether it's spoiled. I would say if you like Coco Mademoiselle, you would love this. This is a much sweeter version. It's a lot more flirty. And even if you don't like Coco Mademoiselle, but you think that there's hope there, go try this. Even try the newer one. You know what? All of the Miss Dior's are pretty good. Even the newer one that has poor performance, the scent itself, though it is very different, is still youthful and elegant. Like, I can't rip on it. But I do strongly, strongly prefer this. And any of the older ones. Absolutely Blooming is really good if you can find that one. It has pomegranate in it. This is still a rose and patchouli combo with some sweet citrus, with some pepper. It is a juicy sister of Coco Mademoiselle in a way. It also layers really nicely with a lot of fragrances. So I would encourage playing and layering to come up with your own signature combo. It's really fun to just play around that way. And if it doesn't work, you know, you can just rub some coconut oil on it and get rid of it and try the next combo. But that's it. Those are my youthful, elegant fragrances, the best ones that I could recommend you guys that are my sister approved, who is 18 years old. So I didn't just pull these out of nowhere. I hope you guys enjoyed and found this video helpful. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll do more fun fragrance things. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.